Hello, my name is Ingrid Felton. Thank you so very much for visiting my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about relationships. And the aspect of relationship that I will be covering in this segment is that of control within a relationship. Many of you are familiar with control and the word control and how it works because many of us would like to think that we're in control of our own destinies, our own fates, and our own lives. And many of us are in control. But there's a lot of us who are not in control. So when you put relationships and control together, that's a very interesting dynamic. So the dynamic I want to talk about though is how it relates to, interacting with someone else in your life, someone close to you. It could be a significant other, it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be anyone that you have a really close relationship to. It doesn't have to be in a love relationship necessarily. But what is control? When you think about control, you think about manipulation, you think about words like, trying to bend something to your will or make something happen. But control can also be a detriment in a relationship because there's the aspect of control where you try to control the other person's emotion. It could be their emotional reaction, their emotional response, or the emotional outcome. Let me repeat that again. You're trying to control the person's emotional response, emotional reaction, or emotional outcome. What does that mean? You want to tell the person how to behave. So that's the emotional reaction. I want you to behave a certain way, so therefore I'm going to try to control you or control certain aspects of this relationship so I can get an emotional reaction. The emotional response is not necessarily how you want them to behave, but how you want them to feel. Some people in relationships will try to make you feel guilty. Mother-daughter, mother-son relationship, or father-son relationship. That parent would tend to make that child feel guilty in order to get a desired result. It's Pavlov's classical conditioning. You're trying to condition someone to behave a certain way, and you use either a negative or positive response. But in relationships, we call it control. You're trying to control that person's response and reaction. You want to tell them how to feel and how they should behave. And ultimately, the goal of telling them how to feel or how to behave will lead to a emotional outcome. How you see that outcome or circumstance evolving. Is it right to control someone else? Well, it is not right, but why do we do it? We do it because most of us are not in control of our own selves, or most of us do not have the ability to communicate effectively. Communication is key. Communication and understanding coupled together is what's needed to have a successful relationship, regardless of what level the relationship is. But because many of us lack the ability to communicate, meaning we don't communicate with ourselves effectively, then it interprets into not communicating at all with others. So the first thing you need to do is learn how to communicate with yourself. Communication with yourself starts with truth. You need to acknowledge that you're out of control before you try to control someone else. But most people do not realize they're out of control because they live their lives in such a way that other people or other circumstances maybe allow them to pretend or believe that they are in control of their own lives. But the truth is, if you are trying to control somebody else, their destiny, or their outcome, that means that you're not really understanding that you cannot control another person's destiny. The only person that can control that person's destiny is that person alone. So let's talk some more about the emotional reaction, the emotional response, and the emotional outcome. Why do we try to get a certain response from people? Why do we want people to feel a certain way? Why do we use emotions to control people? Why do we try to make people respond or react the way we want them to react? Apart from the fact that we're out of control, is also the fact that we cannot accept that person as they are. Yeah, some people might just be the way they are, or we're trying to train that person to become something that we believe they should be. Imagine being married to someone or in a relationship with someone where your authentic self gets buried because this person has decided at some point that who you are and who you're choosing to be is not the person you need to be. It's one thing to make suggestions to that person and communicate with that person in ways to improve something that they need to improve on, but it's another to tell that person, this is who you need to be because this is who I am. What does who you are have to do with what somebody else is? I mean, we attract that which we are. So, technically speaking, if you're in control of yourself, then the law of attraction is in place, meaning that you attract that which you are. So, the people around you tend to be more like you or understand you or have the ability to understand you. But the moment you attract someone into your life that does not understand you, or does not possess the ability to understand you, or does not have the tools to understand you, you have two choices. One is to let that person go, or two is to have that person in your life with the understanding that you are practicing love. And what love insists is that you allow this person to come into their own on their own time. It's not an expedited process by controlling them. It's not a process where you have to force your will on their will. Most people are in relationships where the element of control is very much viable and is very much present. Most people in those relationships, one or two things have happened. Either the person has capitulated to that level of control where the other person is in control and things are running smoothly as long as that person is in control. The moment one thing does not run as smoothly as that person thinks it should, then you'll see how control manifests into anger, manifests into other negative emotions. Or you could be living with someone who you're trying to control. You're trying to control that person because the only way you can feel secure in who you are is to have that heavy hand of control where that person understands that you are in control. You're the boss. You're the one wearing the pants in this case or whatever. But that's still not love. What is love? It says love is not selfish. Control is selfish. Many people in this world talk about God and they talk about a God who would allow, why does God let this happen? Why does he allow a baby to die? Why does he allow this person to go through what they go through? Do we not understand that love is not about control? Why would a God who understands that concept try to control people instead of allowing people to come into their own through a process of experience and learning? Aren't we supposed to learn for ourselves? Think about this. How many parents out there have told their children, especially their teenage daughters and sons, wear a condom or don't have unprotected sex or you will get pregnant? Why are we still having teenage pregnancies in this day and age if people understand the notion of what we teach them? Teaching is not enough. It is not enough, so therefore experience is where teaching fails to kick in, or where teaching does not carry you the rest of the way. Experience picks up. And experience is something that is supposed to teach you and help you learn from your own mistakes and learn from your own interactions with others. So let's go back to relationships. So you're in a relationship and that person is all about control. But imagine that person recognizing that they are a control freak or they want control in this relationship. And then realizing that if they squeeze, if they love that thing, that sparrow, and they hold it in their hands and they squeeze it, the sparrow is going to die. That's control. But this person wants to change. This person wants to love. This person truly wants to be loved and wants to give love. So that person recognizes that they have to release. And instead of squeezing the sparrow, they have to allow the sparrow to come into their hands, to feel a sense of security, to feel a sense of self and a sense of trust. And then that relates into love. That's my analogy. I hope you get it. But there's no control in authentic love. Authentic love does not dictate that you try to boss around the other person or you try to get the other person to believe what you believe in or to believe what you want them to believe in. Authentic love insists that you are patient, that you are kind with that person, that you're thoughtful, that you communicate effectively, that you try to understand and be understood at the same time. It is not a one-way street when you try to be understood and the person does not understand. The marriages that work the best are marriages when both people understand each other or try to understand each other. In relationships, try not to suffocate that person. Try not to make that person feel less than. Try not to make that person feel as though their identity is not their own or their identity is not enough. Try to expand your knowledge and your level of understanding to the point where you can love that person through their experiences and bring them into a knowledge that they're okay, that they're worthy, that they're worth your love. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. I hope you get this. But more importantly, I hope you start practicing this. Stop trying to control somebody's emotional response or emotional reaction. Stop trying to get the emotional outcome that you desire. Instead, seek to help that person understand themselves and therefore understand you. You cannot help someone else until you can help yourself. Why not start today with yourself? My name is Ingrid Felton. Please visit my website, thejourneyoftruth.com, for more information. For those of you who would like to reach out to me, my email address is on my website, along with the ways to reach me. If you like the YouTube videos, please like it. Your comments are valuable to me. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to talking to you again. Have a great day.